Hello and welcome to my movie review of the movie Gladiator 2. First of all, thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. My name is Luke Zbella. I am an aspiring director, screenwriter, and actor. I put out my first short film last year and I'm working on my next short film. In the meantime, I run a video business creating video content for realtors, mortgage lenders, and small businesses. And I like to create these movie review videos until I can make it into Hollywood and be making my own movies. So thank you so much for being here, and please click that like and subscribe button. That actually really helps small pages like mine. All right, let's dive in to the meat of Gladiator 2. What I am dubbing the sequel that didn't need to be made. Now, Gladiator 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's very high up on my list. I think it's in like my top 15 favorite movies. And nothing about the ending of that movie suggests that a sequel needed to be made. A sequel was not needed, was not anticipated, was not expected based on how Gladiator just wraps up perfectly. And that's not to say if a movie wraps up perfectly, you can't make a sequel out of it. It kind of seemed like there wasn't a lot of territory to even make a sequel out of. But after seeing it, it was actually pretty dope, pretty good movie. And the movie follows Lucius, who is the little kid in the first movie. So after seeing it, it does make more sense of where they pulled the sequel from. All that to say, this movie was not bad like some of the film chads out there might be saying. I thought it was pretty good. It was entertaining, which is the point of movies for the most part. It had good action, good acting, massive sets, massive scale, cool fight scenes, and some badass moments. Now, I really love Paul Mescal as the lead in this movie. I thought he did a great job of kind of matching Russell Crowe's level of charisma and leading man in Gladiator 1. Obviously, it's hard to live up to basically perfection, but I feel like he did a pretty damn good job. And not just completely copying that character, but playing a similar character so that the movie has the same heart as the first one, but he made it different enough to where it was his own thing. I thought he carried the movie really well as the lead. He was badass, he was charismatic, and I thought he did a great job. Now, for those who don't know, Paul Mescal has come up on the indie movie scene. I've seen him in a couple smaller indie, like A24 type movies, and he kills those. But everything he's done up until Gladiator 2 has been very drama, kind of sad movie. Really no action, no large movie at all. They've all just been kind of small indie drama movies. So him stepping up to the plate to lead Gladiator 2, a massive blockbuster action movie, it's pretty dope for him. It's gonna set his career onto a new level. The two movies that I've seen him in so far are After Sun and All of Us Strangers. Two pretty good movies, but very different from Gladiator 2. Now, Pedro Pascal, obviously if you've seen him in anything, he kills it like he always does. I wish he had a bigger part in this movie, but the parts that he was in were very cool and he kills it. Now, if you don't know Pedro, he is most notably from Game of Thrones and The Last of Us and a couple other big things, and he is an awesome actor. Now, the legend Denzel, he killed it obviously like he always does. His character was a little tough to read, which kind of led up to some crazy moments. Not what I was expecting, but he obviously kills it and was a badass. I thought the two Emperor brothers, played by Joseph Quinn, most notably from Stranger Things and A Quiet Place Day One, and Fred Hetchinger, most notably from White Lotus. I thought they did a really good job. I did think some of their parts were kind of cringy and like over the top. Just personally, that was like one of my kind of main negatives of the movie. And I don't think it was their fault as the actors. I think it was a little more the fault of the writing, the script, or the directing. But yeah, just some of their moments, I think they were just trying to match the level of craziness that Joaquin Phoenix brought to the Emperor in the first movie, but it just came off as like kind of cringe in some parts, in my opinion. If you disagree with that, that is totally okay. That's just how I felt when I was watching it. The story in this movie was good, although there was a point where it kind of just felt like the same movie as Gladiator 1, but then you get deeper into the movie and it does differentiate itself, which was good. It's like they were trying to pay homage to the first movie and they were almost making the exact same movie, and then they were like, oh shoot, we need to make some changes, and then they made some changes. So at the end, it was a different enough movie to be a cool sequel. Sorry, I'm trying to explain this movie without giving too many specific spoilers, so bear with me. There were some twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Just know that. Overall, this was a badass movie. I definitely enjoyed myself and I was entertained, but this sequel, it does nothing to exceed or even match the level of the first movie. I would say it does live up to the first movie, but I would say it barely lives up to it, just because Gladiator is so stinking good. If you love the movie Gladiator, this movie is just like more Gladiator. And I always like to say, why would you not want more of something that you love? So haters of this movie, come on now. Just go into this movie expecting a good, entertaining movie, but be expecting that it will not come close to the first one and you will not be disappointed. This movie is still in theaters right now, so try and catch this movie in theaters. I'm sure it's going to be a much cooler experience in theaters. Just being able to see the scale and the size and the action was all super cool. This isn't really a spoiler because it is in the trailer. There is this one part where they fill the Colosseum with water and sharks and put boats in the water, and that part was super badass. I'm sure it's not very feasible, like I don't know if that could have actually happened back then, but it was dope to see, and it was dope to see that part specifically as being something very different from the first movie. And that part in theaters was just very cool. Let me know if you've already seen this movie, what your thoughts were in the comments. And if you want to come back here and make a comment after you've seen it, let me know what you think. Let's have a discussion about it. My rating for this movie, I give it an 8.2 out of 10. And just so you know, Gladiator 1 is a 10 out of 10 for me. So before some of you film chads come at my head and say, oh my gosh, you thought this movie was an 8.2, man, there's no way. I thought an 8.2 to a 10, that's still a pretty big disparity, and I thought, to me, Gladiator 2 earned an 8.2. Anyways, thank you so much for being here and watching this video. Peace out, and I'll see you on my next review.